Let's shift focus, shall we, and talk about Arsenal, who got a big 3-1 win over Bayern Munich in the Champions League. Here's a look at the match stats, and it was quite the performance from Mikel Arteta's men, which prompted a lot of people, including us, to say that Arsenal are quite possibly the best team in Europe, if not the world right now. Well, someone else begs to differ, and as Robbo hinted at it, it was Joshua Kimmich, the Bayern Munich midfielder. This is what he had to say. No, I don't think so. I think PSG was the toughest one, especially the way they play. Arsenal is completely different. They rely on set pieces. They love to play long balls. They love to fight for second balls. It was a completely different game than PSG. It was more a football game.
Well, the best teams...
Sour grapes?
Yeah, sour grapes. The best teams can win football games in many different ways. If they want to play football, Arsenal can play football. If they need to go long because the opposition are pressing them high up the field, they can go longer. If they want to get set plays and get them into the box with great quality, they can do that as well. So at the moment, along with PSG, who have got some outstanding footballers and play a great style of football, Arsenal are an all-round team, and they're very difficult to play against. Bayern Munich tear up the Bundesliga, and they've done it in the Champions League where they've scored goal after goal after goal. We saw the expected goals. I know you love the expected goals. 0.68 for Bayern Munich because they didn't create chances because Arsenal stopped them playing.
Well, nobody said Arsenal were the best team in the world.
No.
We said maybe. You didn't.
I didn't say maybe. I'm not getting tarred with that brush. I mean, getting carried away. I mean, they're strong at the moment, but you know. What's handed out pre-Christmas? Nothing. Absolutely.
You remember Arsenal beat PSG at this stage last year in the Emirates 2-0, thrashed them.
PSG was struggling. Yeah. And then when it really mattered, which is where Arsenal have struggled in recent years, where it has really mattered. So yeah, I mean, it's what they do after Christmas, after New Year, come March, come April and May, when it gets, whether it's tight in the Premier League or not, or they're in the knockout in the Champions League. I don't know where they'll be, but they're certainly strong enough, squad-wise, to be in a very good position. Whether they will be or not remains to be seen.
And at this particular point, I don't think any team would want to play Arsenal. They're the team that are in form at the moment, I would say.
They are the team to beat, indeed, in the Premier League and the Champions League at the moment, I suppose. Of course, PSG as well. But Frank Leboeuf, did I hear a chuckle from you there when I was reading the quote from Joshua Kimmich?
Yeah, especially the last sentence, referring about the game that he played against Paris Saint-Germain. He said it was more a football game. What the hell that means? That means that Stuart, Craig and myself, we didn't play football because we didn't play the tiki-taka. Like Bayern Munich yesterday, passing 465 passes and doing not having chances to score, or almost not chances to score. I mean, Arsenal adjust. It's football right now with the opponent that they have, and they're doing great. And that you have to refer that as a great team. Yeah, I'm with Craig, and you have to not be carried away because of what Arsenal is doing right now. Because we all know that that's going to be after winter that we're going to see what Arsenal really worth. But right now, I found Bayern Munich very impressive. When I saw the game in Paris Saint-Germain, I was at the Parc des Princes. That was the most impressive team so far. But seeing Arsenal being capable of dealing with Bayern Munich and winning 3-1, well, you cannot say that it's not, well, maybe it's not the best team. It's one of the best teams, for sure.
Darky, what say you? Best team?
No, not yet. You can't say that. I agree with Craig. There's no silverware handed out in late November. What they've proved is they're a very, very strong team at the moment. They may deliver silverware, but for me, Paris Saint-Germain were brilliant winners of the Champions League last season. Until anybody proves otherwise in the later stages of this competition, Paris Saint-Germain, I think, still deserve that accolade if you're having that argument. But Arsenal are good.
All right, well, let's...
should be. With
the amount of players they've got, the squad they've got.
Liverpool, when we were talking elongated about Liverpool, nobody's going to be feeling sorry for the fact that they spent all that money and they're struggling. That's the same for Man City. When Man City were beefing up the squad and when they had injuries, nobody cared. You got a big squad, deal with it. Arsenal are the same. Gabriel's out. How's that going to affect them? I don't know. Who cares? Crocodile tears. You have to handle it. And they've brought in players that have been able to do that and should be able to do it. Now, they're not the best team in England or Europe until the end of the season, and we know that. At the moment, they're one of the informed teams, but there's a big difference. Big difference to being an informed team and a successful team at the end of the season. And until that all comes out in the wash, I think we should be a little bit guarded about how we talk about some of these teams, because historically, some of these other sides have done a better job at the business end of the season of getting results at the best times. You look at Man City, you look at how difficult it was for them to win the Champions League. They should have won it. Could easily have won it. So easily, they should have probably won it, put themselves in good positions on 3 or 4 occasions before they did win it, but they crumbled, and either the manager got it wrong, or teams outfoxed them, or out-defended them, or whatever it was. Just pinpointed the weak areas of the team, and they struggled to get over the line when many people thought, right, they're going to dominate Europe and England for many a year, and they couldn't. There was 3 key words that I think 3 of us used. At the moment.
At the moment.
At the moment. That's all we can say. At the moment.
Darky?
Yeah, exactly that. At the moment, I can't answer that.
Sorry. No. For me, yes, for me. But at the moment, but remember last season, I think Liverpool were first. They were on fire, and it was November, and they won the Premier League because they managed to deal with that, and because the other team couldn't react. But they lost in the Champions League. They lost in the FA Cup. They lost in the League Cup, where everybody saw them winning the 4, being the winning everything, and it didn't happen. So again, let's not be carried away by what Arsenal is doing. They are at the moment very good, but we'll see at the end of the season.
Darky, you wanted to chime in?
No, I was just going to say, I'm thinking we're all asked, aren't we, at the beginning of every season to make predictions. Predictions make fools of you. I think one of the great things about this game is it's impossible to predict it. Among us, anyway.
Noni Madueke for everyone.
Noni, congratulations. First goal for Arsenal. What a night to do it. How does it feel?
Yeah, no, so it's an amazing feeling. Want to thank God for giving me the opportunity to play today and keeping me fit and, giving me a goal and our team, most importantly, a win. So I'm made up.
How good is it to be back? Because you obviously had made a really good start at Arsenal, didn't you? Was it a bit frustrating to tell us about that?
It's horrible. Time of the injury, horrible timing, but it is what it is. You face adversity as a footballer, and it's about how you get back and how you go back. Today was great for me personally and great for the team, so I'm really happy.
How have you found it settling in? Obviously, you knew some of the England players before your game. They made it a lot easier.
Yeah, no, definitely, of course. Listen, we have an amazing group of players and staff as well. So yeah, settling in was a breeze, really. So yeah.
And I know you had when that move was going about, there was a lot of talk on social media, kind of a difficult time. How was that for you dealing with that before you made the move?
Yeah, to be honest, I just kind of take that stuff in stride. It's normal, you're in the public eye, people can say whatever they want about you. But being in the stadium and how the fans take it to me in the stadium is unbelievable. So I'm not really worried about all of that. That's in the distant past.
I was going to say that was a big difference between the noise there and then when you made your first appearance here, you could see.
Yeah, like the last game versus Tottenham, like it's incredible. That gives me such a boost. I play on the side of the pitch, I can feel them, I can hear them. So when they're that positive about me, it gives me a massive boost, honestly. So I'm made up about it.
Your timing's pretty good, isn't it? Considering you're going to Chelsea on Sunday, that's got to be a game that you're going to really relish.
Yeah, no. For me, for me, it's another game. Honestly, the fixture's not about me. The fixture's about Arsenal getting another 3 points in the league and being closer to our objective. So that's honestly how I think about it.
How do you think it's going to feel going back to your old club in Arsenal Red and just playing your game at the Bridge where you were there for so long?
Yeah, listen, it might be a little hostile, it might not be, but I'm a professional footballer. I played in loads of atmospheres, so I don't know if anything will faze me. I'll just be focused on the task at hand from the manager. I think so.
It's a huge game, isn't it, for the club, isn't it, with Chelsea right behind.
Of course,
the table.
Of course. That's the most important. Like I said, the fixture's not about me. It's about our team and trying to win the game. Simple as.
Noni, just on the Premier League, obviously everyone's focused on that, but you've won 5 out of 5 in the Champions League. Did the dressing room feel actually we can go for both and we can win both?
our goal going into every game is to win the game. So I don't know if it's great to be thinking so far ahead in November. I just feel like if we control what we can control, that's every single day on the training ground, every single day, every time we step on the pitch, and trying to have the best account of ourselves. And I feel like that's what we're doing at the moment.
Just on your position as well, obviously, you come on the left tonight, but naturally at Chelsea you're more right-sided. Do you have a preference at all where you prefer to play? I know Bukayo is obviously nailed down that role on the right, but can you see yourself pushing him on that side as well?
Yeah, no, listen, about other people and positions, that's up to the manager. That's the manager's choice. Obviously, I've shown that I can play well on the left, and I'm probably a natural right winger, but I can play well on the left as well. So I'm not really too worried about all of that. So
your other manager, your England manager, was here tonight as well.
Yeah.
A, how pleased are you played so well in front of him, and B, when was the last time you had some contact? Because obviously you've got a World Cup to think about.
About 3 hours ago.
Okay.
You know,
before the game.
Yeah, before the game, he told me he was in the stands, and to be fair, I'm probably going to run off to try and see if I can still catch him. You know, but yeah, no, it's great. It's great that he's here. I know he does a lot of work trying to get out to as many games as possible, trying to watch as many players as possible, and made up that he saw my first goal here today, and try to catch him now, see if we can talk about it.
Mikel Arteta has made it clear that Arsenal will need to unleash their complete player against Bayern Munich. The Gunners host the German champions at the Emirates Stadium on Wednesday, and one man in particular could be decisive. Ebereki Eze, described as a very complete player by teammate Mikel Merino, is emerging as one of Arsenal's most dangerous weapons ahead of their Champions League clash with Bayern. The 27-year-old announced himself in North London with a stunning hat-trick in his first derby since arriving in a £67.5 million move from Crystal Palace. His 3 brilliant goals dismantled Tottenham, and truthfully, he could have scored even more. Mourinho believes every one of Arsenal's 8 summer signings has lifted the squad's level, helping the team build a 6-point lead at the top of the Premier League. But Wednesday's matchup is different. Bayern Munich, the reigning Bundesliga champions, represent the toughest test yet for Arteta's side. Speaking after the win over Spurs, Mourinho praised Eze's qualities and hinted at the impact he could have in such a high-stakes European battle. "We've brought in a lot of players who can make a difference. But you can see that other teams have spent big as well," the Spain international said. "Individual brilliance can win matches, sure, but in the end, it's the team that matters. If you have great players who don't connect, that's a problem. The good thing about this group is that everyone thinks about the team first." When asked about Eze specifically, Mourinho didn't hesitate. "I think he's incredibly complete. He can dribble, he can pass, and his technical quality is outstanding. In Spain, we always talk about players who can connect with others. He has that naturally. He grew up with that instinct to link play, move the ball, and build relationships on the pitch. He also has the mindset to get involved, demand the ball, and influence the game. At the same time, he's strong, he can take players on, and he can finish. He's a truly complete signing." Mourinho also touched on how the modern game often reduces players to simple numbers. "These days everyone judges players by goals and assists, that's just how it is. But as footballers, we see the deeper qualities he brings, the technique, the movement, the intelligence. Even in training, you can tell immediately how special he is. Yes, he's scoring goals, but he's much more than that. He's an exceptional player, and we're incredibly lucky to have him. He can play in several positions and adapt to different systems. He's been a huge addition for Arsenal." Beyond the technical qualities, Mourinho believes Eze's attitude, and the healthy competition within the squad, will be crucial in Arsenal's title push. You can hear the calm in Ebereki's voice and see it in the way he carries himself. He's confident, grounded, and every morning we sit together in the sauna at the training ground and talk about everything, he added with a smile. "He's a great guy, already fully integrated, and we need players like him. Competition is fierce. There's so much quality in this squad. That's exactly what the manager wanted, as many top players as possible, all ready to play. It makes his decisions tough, choosing who starts and who doesn't, but it also pushes every one of us to give our best in every session. And that's why we're improving as a team." As Arsenal prepare for Bayern's arrival, Arteta is facing one of the most delicate balancing acts of the season. The squad is healthy, competition is fierce, and expectations have never been higher. But behind the scenes, There is a growing sense that Iza's versatility and calm presence may be essential against a Bayern side known for controlling the tempo in big European nights. Arteta himself has hinted at Iza's importance without naming him directly. After the Tottenham victory, the manager spoke about the need for players who can break pressure, dictate rhythm, and stay composed when the game becomes chaotic. Those inside the club believe those comments were aimed at Iza as much as anyone. The coaching staff has been particularly impressed by how quickly he has adapted to Arsenal's positional play structure, a system that demands far more tactical discipline than what he was used to at Crystal Palace. Analysts at the club point to his growing influence not only in the final third, but also in build-up phases, where his ability to glide past pressure could help Arsenal bypass Bayern's aggressive midfield line. There is also an awareness that Bayern's fullbacks tend to push high, leaving spaces between the lines. Iza's skill set, sharp turns, deceptive acceleration, and precise final balls, could be exactly what Arteta needs to exploit those gaps. Outside the club, pundits have already started circling Wednesday's match as a defining moment for the £67.5 million signing. Some believe that if Iza can impose himself on a Champions League quarter-final against Bayern Munich, it will confirm his arrival among Europe's elite creative players. Former players have echoed that sentiment. Several ex-Arsenal figures, speaking on television over the weekend, highlighted the need for someone who can change the temperature of the match with a moment of calm or an unexpected burst of creativity. Iza, they argued, is one of the few in the squad capable of both. Meanwhile, Bayern Munich come into the match with their own confidence. Their midfield trio has been one of the most dominant in Europe this season, and they have shown a repeated ability to suffocate opponents early. That dynamic is precisely why Arteta may lean on Iza's composure. When the game tightens, Arsenal will need a player capable of slowing it down, protecting the ball, and finding solutions in tight spaces. Within Arsenal's dressing room, Mourinho's praise reflects a broader consensus. Senior players have reportedly been struck by Iza's humility and work ethic, qualities that have helped him integrate seamlessly into a squad that already had strong internal chemistry. Staff members describe him as someone who never forces the game, and lets the match come to him, characteristics that could prove invaluable in a high-tension Champions League tie. As kickoff approaches, the narrative surrounding the match has shifted. What began as a test of Arsenal's resilience has quietly become a spotlight on whether Iza can elevate them in Europe the same way he has in the Premier League. For Arteta, the equation is simple. If Arsenal are to overcome Bayern, they will need more than intensity. They will need control. They will need creativity. And increasingly, they will need the completeness Iza brings to every phase of the pitch. Whether he starts in a wide role as a floating midfielder, or even as an interior playmaker, the expectation is the same. Iza will have to find the spaces others cannot, and influence the game in ways that statistics alone will not capture. The stakes are high, the opponent is formidable, and the spotlight is intense. But within the walls of London Coney, the belief is growing that this is exactly the kind of stage Ebereki Iza was signed for. Martin Odegaard is nearing a return to action after suffering a medial collateral ligament injury in Arsenal's 2-0 win over West Ham earlier in October. Yet, 3.5 years after Mikel Arteta named him captain, the Norwegian finds himself in an unfamiliar position. His place in the starting lineup is no longer guaranteed. For the first time since joining the club permanently from Real Madrid in August 2021, there is real debate over whether he remains an automatic choice for Arteta's 11. Odegaard, now 26, has been central to Arsenal's resurgence under Arteta, the conductor who shaped the team's rhythm through some of their most fluid football. But this season, the Gunners have been forced to navigate long stretches without their captain, first due to a shoulder issue that kept him out of 4 matches in September, and then because of a knee collision with West Ham's Crescencio Somerville that sidelined him again. And during his absence, something significant happened. Ebereki Iza stepped into the spotlight. Iza's sensational hat-trick in the North London Derby has complicated the picture. Now thriving in a central role, the England international has given Arsenal a different kind of presence around the edge of the box. A blend of unpredictability, directness, and two-footed confidence that opponents struggle to contain. He may not control games with the same metronomic precision as Odegaard, but he offers a spark, a willingness to take risks at moments when Arsenal need a jolt of creativity. After such a standout performance against Tottenham, it feels almost impossible to imagine Arteta leaving Iza out. The manager has always had a soft spot for players riding a wave of confidence, and Iza is currently surfing at full height. There was a similar situation back in September, when Mikel Merino was handed a start against Manchester City after scoring 4 times in 2 games for Spain, including a hat-trick against Turkey. Arteta doesn't hesitate to reward form. Ease has carried that form onto the international stage as well, recently scoring a stunning goal for England in a 2-0 win over Serbia in the World Cup qualifiers at Wembley. Though he can play on the left, it has always been clear that Arteta brought him to the Emirates to operate in midfield. And with Declan Rice and Martin Zubamendi near untouchable in the double pivot, the odds of Ease and Odegaard consistently starting together seem slim. That leaves Odegaard in an unfamiliar position. He needs minutes to rebuild sharpness, yet Arsenal's medical team won't rush him. The plan is likely to ease him back through short substitute appearances before restoring him to larger roles. But even once fully fit, Odegaard faces genuine competition, because Ease has shifted the landscape. His arrival has raised the team's ceiling, and his performances have earned him the right to keep his place. Before the dismantling of Tottenham, Ease had scored only twice for Arsenal, one against Port Vale in the Carabao Cup and another versus his former club Crystal Palace, a clever finish that sealed victory. Now with 5 goals across all competitions, he sits just one behind Odegaard's total from last season, when the captain made 45 appearances. Odegaard's 2023-24 numbers were outstanding: 11 goals, 12 assists, influence written across every competition. That is the standard he must match again if he wants to reclaim his spot, because Ease is hungry, confident, and eager to impress ahead of next summer's World Cup. Arteta will insist that Arsenal need both players at their best if they are to meet their ambitions in the months ahead. And with Kai Havertz also working his way back to full fitness, potentially slotting into midfield behind marquee striker Victor Gyökeres, the battle for places has never been fiercer at the Emirates. For Odegaard, the message is clear: he must rise to the challenge. His leadership and quality remain unquestioned, but he can no longer rely on reputation alone. If he embraces the competition and fights his way back into the side, his return could push Arsenal to even greater heights. And if the team has already reached this level without several key figures, the potential for what comes next may be even greater. Inside the club, staff members are quietly acknowledging that Arsenal are entering a new phase, one where no player, not even the captain, is immune to tactical evolution. Arteta has spent the past 2 seasons building a squad capable of sustaining pressure across multiple competitions, and the emergence of Ease is a sign that the manager's long-term planning is beginning to bear fruit. Depth is no longer a luxury, it is a necessity. But with depth comes difficult decisions. Arteta has always valued balance in midfield, and the contrasting profiles of Odegaard and Ease force him to reconsider what type of midfield best suits the team's ambitions in Europe and the Premier League. The technical control and spatial awareness that Odegaard brings have defined Arsenal's identity under Arteta. Conversely, Ease's dynamism, physical presence, and unpredictable touches give Arsenal a new dimension, especially against teams that sit deep or defend aggressively in central areas. This internal shift has also caught the attention of analysts and former players. Several pundits have begun to question whether the captaincy should guarantee a place in the lineup, especially at a club with ambitions of challenging for the Champions League. Others argue that Odegaard's leadership is too valuable to sideline, pointing to the standards he sets in training and his influence over younger players. Those debates are already spilling into the media, and they will only intensify as the season progresses. There is also the tactical question of whether Arteta might eventually experiment with a system that accommodates both Ease and Odegaard, something he briefly attempted earlier in the season during the win over West Ham. But with Rice and Zubamendi forming an almost impenetrable midfield pairing, any reshuffle risks destabilizing the defensive structure that has made Arsenal one of the most resilient teams in the league. The manager has hinted that he is open to adjustments, but only if they enhance the team's overall cohesion. For Odegaard himself, the challenge is as much psychological as it is physical. He has worked hard to cultivate an image of calm authority, a leader who raises the level of those around him through clarity and consistency. Now he must show that he can adapt, compete, and respond to adversity. His teammates still speak of him with admiration, describing him as one of the most studious and detail-oriented players at London Coney. They believe that once he regains full rhythm, he will naturally reassert his influence. Yet even they acknowledge that the landscape has shifted. One senior player privately remarked that, "The team is different now, Ease has changed what we can do in the final third." That sentiment reflects not a lack of faith in Odegaard, but an understanding that Arsenal have evolved while he has been sidelined. For Arteta, the ideal scenario is straightforward: a fully fit Odegaard competing with a fully confident Ease, creating a level of internal competition that lifts the entire squad. The manager often speaks about the need for healthy tension among his players, pressure that keeps standards high without fracturing unity. The arrival of Victor Gyökeres, combined with the recovery of Havertz, only amplifies that dynamic. Arsenal's season will almost certainly hinge on these midfield decisions. With Champions League knockout matches approaching and the Premier League title race tightening, Arteta must decide not only who starts, but what kind of identity he wants his team to carry into the defining months of the campaign. The next few weeks will reveal whether Odegaard's return sparks a resurgence or a battle for relevance. If he manages to reclaim his place, it could serve as a reminder of why Arteta trusted him with the armband in the first place. If he struggles, it will underline how rapidly Arsenal are progressing, and how little room there is for sentiment at the highest level. Either way, the captain's response will shape not just his future, but the trajectory of a team that believes it is on the brink of something significant.